Looking across the Mediterranean today, it's difficult to picture the 3rd century BC, when this massive body of water was an expert-level naval theater controlled almost entirely by Carthage. The Carthaginians inherited centuries of Phoenician shipbuilding and navigation. Rome, on the other hand, was strictly a land power. Their heavy infantry legions controlled the Italian peninsula, but they possessed literally zero maritime tradition. That landlocked reality became a serious problem in 264 BC. Rome blundered into a conflict with Carthage over the island of Sicily, sparking the First Punic War. To win, Rome had to fight on the water, but they possessed absolutely no warships. Their solution was entirely pragmatic. When a Carthaginian vessel ran aground on the Italian coast, the Romans hauled it out of the surf, tore it apart piece by piece, and used the wreckage to steal the engineering logic. This animated blueprint shows what the historian Polybius called a 60-day miracle. The Romans essentially reverse-engineered the captured Carthaginian wireframe and printed a fleet of over 100 warships from scratch. While the carpenters worked, they set up wooden benches on dry land to train their rowers. But while you can rapidly manufacture 100 hulls, you cannot manufacture experienced sailors. Rome had the wood, but they lacked the skill to outmaneuver Carthage, which forced them to invent a way to cheat the system entirely. This cross-section shows the standard warship of the era, the quinquereme. A vertical stack of 5 oars is physically impossible. Instead, it used a 3-bank arrangement rowed by 5 men, 2 on the top oar, 2 in the middle, and 1 on the bottom. To compensate for poor sailing, Rome installed the corvus. They attached a heavy, gangplank-like structure to the prow. When an agile Carthaginian ship got close, the Romans dropped it. An iron spike punched through the enemy deck, locking the vessels together. By eliminating the need to steer, the corvus turned an intricate sea battle into a brutal Roman infantry brawl. The tactic worked perfectly at the Battle of Mylae in 260 BC, yielding Rome's very first naval victory. They proudly displayed the bronze rams cut from captured Carthaginian ships right here in the Roman Forum. However, bolting a multi-ton plank high on the front of a ship created a massive physics problem. It made the entire vessel incredibly top-heavy. In 255 BC, a fleet carrying tens of thousands of Roman sailors and soldiers encountered rough weather off the coast of Sicily. Because of the top-heavy corvus, the ships couldn't ride the swells. The fleet capsized, and nearly the entire force drowned in a mass casualty event. A loss of that scale would have destroyed most empires. The Romans simply absorbed the catastrophe. They scrapped the corvus entirely, built another fleet from scratch, and committed to learning actual seamanship. 2 centuries later, at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC, the tactical roles had entirely flipped. Rome was now the dominant naval power, and their enemies, Antony and Cleopatra, relied on massive, sluggish heavy ships. The architect of Rome's final naval evolution was Octavian's top admiral, Marcus Agrippa. He recognized that Rome no longer needed heavy boarding bridges to win. They needed agility. Agrippa developed the harpax, a grappling hook fired from a catapult. It pierced the enemy hull and was winched in, keeping boarding capabilities without the weight problem. He mounted these on Liburnians, smaller, faster ships. Their speed completely outmaneuvered the heavy enemy vessels. At Actium, Agrippa's agile fleet swarmed Antony and Cleopatra's massive galleys. The lighter ships picked them off one by one, securing a total, decisive victory. Actium eliminated the final threat to Roman supremacy. With Antony and Cleopatra defeated, Rome systematically erased every naval rival in the ancient Mediterranean. Looking at this map, you can see the ultimate geographic rebrand. The Mediterranean ceased to be a contested battlefield and was officially named Mare Nostrum, our sea. Every coastline and the water between them belonged exclusively to Rome. To enforce that ownership, the first emperor, Augustus, did something no one had done before. He established massive, permanent standing fleets to continuously police the waters. The largest of these was based right here in the Bay of Naples, at Misenum. Their job rarely involved actual combat. Instead, they suppressed piracy and escorted the massive grain convoys from Egypt that kept the city of Rome from starving. It was a highly structured bureaucracy. The rowers and sailors were largely non-citizens. They traded 26 years of rigorous, unglamorous service for a military pension and full Roman citizenship for themselves and their families. This satellite view of the Strait of Gibraltar highlights the sheer scale of their logistical achievement. For roughly 5 centuries, transporting cargo from Gibraltar to the coast of Syria was as routine and safe as walking down a paved street. Rome didn't conquer the sea because they had a natural affinity for the water. They secured absolute dominance through a brutal, relentless willingness to fail, absorb the loss, and engineer a better fleet, until the ocean itself became a Roman highway.